I'm sure by now most of you have seen that Paintball Fit is on an absolute tear in the NXL Pro division. Is that good for the sport? Well, this week on Old Guy Paintball, we're going to talk about that. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Craig and I'm the host. Yes, Paintball Fit has been on an absolute just whirlwind tear in the pro division of the NXL. They won last year's World Cup and won the first two pro events this year in 2025. Is this good for paintball? In the short term, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to cover why. First of all, Paintball Fit is the old AC Diesel team of a couple years ago that was in the pro division. They basically had, a bad run and got relegated. And unlike most teams that, when they get regulated, they tend to either sell their spot or disband or something along those lines. Paintball Fit basically went down into semi-pro, reformed from AC Diesel into Paintball Fit, restructured their roster a little bit, and basically worked their way back up. They won their spot in the pro division by winning all the events, and basically the only team that was close to them was Blast Camp. And, they came in second in every event, and even they bought their way into the pro division for 1 year. But Paintball Fit did just an amazing job of regrouping and basically living out the dream, getting back in the pro division. And not only that, but they did something no other team has done, is pretty much as a so-called rookie team. They came in and they won World Cup last year. And they kept it going this year. And some of the most amazing parts about that also is generally if a team does really good, in the following offseason, they get raided and they lose some of their good players, and then they just, tend to founder or struggle, and sometimes they don't make it. That's kind of what happened a little bit in the past few years with teams like Latin Saints and Columbus LVL and even Blast Camp. They realized the cost of playing pro division is extremely hard, and once they get some decent players, like everything else, teams start picking them players up with more lucrative offers, or just an offer to play in a better team that has a better chance of winning. Paintball Fit has been able to keep their core group intact for the entire time. And why is this good for paintball? Well, first of all, in the past, a lot of the good teams like Dynasty and Heat and Red Legion, also known as Moscow Red Legion, and, before that, they're Arc Chaos, and some of the other ones, they have had some tremendously good runs and dominated the sport, whether it be for a season or two. And people kind of tend to start to hate on them a little bit. Why? Because they're an established team and nobody can beat them. I think it's a little different with Paintball Fit. For the biggest reason is that Paintball Fit went down into the semi-pro or the so-called minor leagues and worked their way back up into the majors and in the pro division. And they did it relatively quickly, and they're being very successful at it. And I think it's just different. They're a newer team. They may be rebranded, but they are a newer team, and they've kept their core intact. And one of the good things with that is as long as they can keep winning and doing well, the financials will follow, and they probably can keep their team together. And they've also done it with a couple of injuries, and that's even still more amazing. But right now, I think everybody is kind of, hey, let's get on the Paintball Fit bandwagon because they're just a different team. And I think that's good for pro paintball because it shows that semi-pro teams with the work can achieve success. Because that's one of the big problems that has happened in the past few years is teams that have moved up or bought into a pro division seem to have struggled with the previous problems I've talked about. And it's also been a little harder for them because, it's tough to compete against established teams that have good rosters with veteran players and a coach that's solid and knows the pro divisions and all the other things, that nuances that go with it with sponsorship and everything else. And I think that's another reason why people really have kind of jumped onto Paintball Fit is they are like the new kids on the block. They got the hot hand right now, and everybody seems to like that. And right now, I think it's good for paintball that they have a team that is attracting attention. it's reestablishing the pro division, in that some of these older veteran teams are like, hey, look at the new guys over there. They're taking our spot. They're getting noticed. Things like that, which I think is good. It's going to shake up the league a little bit. So, yeah, overall, I think it's going to be good for Paintball Fit to be a dominant team. And right now, there's nothing that says they aren't the team to beat. I think until somebody comes in and can beat them on a Sunday, either in the finals or semifinals, I just think they're just the guys that everyone's chasing right now. But it's not been easy either. I mean, give Paintball Fit their credit. They've had several close teams where they've literally had to win it in overtime, as in with the last event, where they've had to eke out literally 1-point victories over some really good teams like Dynasty and Red Legion and such. So it's not like they've had a cakewalk to some of these victories. It's tough, and it's not going to get any easier, because now the proverbial target is on their back, and everybody is gunning for them to be the one that knocked them off. But I think it's going to do a lot of good for the sport, because not only do you have 3 teams in Texas, but for a while, X Factor was it, and I think just recently, with the fact that they were kind of the feeder team for AC Diesel a couple years ago, there's a little bit of maybe some rough edges there. So there might be a little bit of grudge action going between AC Diesel and Paintball Fit. They're relatively close together in where they practice. And with San Antonio X Factor, this could be good for Paintball to get a little bit more rivalry again. We haven't seen that in a while, where a few teams are kind of battling against each other for not just a local domination, but the domination of the sport. So it'll be good for that as well. So interesting to see what everybody else has to say. If you have any comments, post them below, and give me your thoughts on what you think. Is Paintball Fit the real deal, and are they going to dominate, or are they just kind of the flash in the pan, and Cinderella is about to hit and midnight's coming and it'll be over for them? It's going to be an interesting run in 2025 to see if that happens or not. So with all that, couple things coming up is I've seen the pro divisional drop has happened for the upcoming tournament in, I believe it's the Midwest Open in Cincinnati here in June. We'll be discussing a preview show on that here soon. The brackets look a little bit interesting. We'll get into that. I'm hoping to get out and playing paintball this weekend and get some nice action clips to start posting again. So hopefully the weather will cooperate and I can get out this weekend and get you some of those. And again, if you have any ideas for subjects or something you'd like me to talk about, drop them in the comments below. And also, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming content. And with that, I hope to see all of you on the paintball field soon.